observe Memorial Day. Uh, Today, just being back from a 4-day road trip, I needed something really easy to make. So we're going to make something really easy. It's funny because I see that from moms whose kids are newly diagnosed, especially those that don't like to cook. It's like, oh my God, do I have to become a culinary genius now or something? And a lot of them don't like to cook. So what I am going to do today is I'm going to make a really simple sheet pan dinner that it almost feels like cheating. And if you don't want to do this kind of prep, you don't have to. This is something, I don't mind the cooking. I don't mind the prep. What I don't like is the cleanup. Everybody's got their thing. I'm not a big fan of cleanup. My husband is very helpful with that in the kitchen, and I am so grateful for that. But still, I don't want to make it hard for him and easy for me. So I always prep my pans so that they're a lot easier to clean. Sometimes no cleanup, actually. It just depends on how much juice there is in whatever we're making. So today, it could go either way. They do have little wells there, so we should be all right. So, and when they curl up like this, you can put them the other way around, that will work most of the time. But if you really want it not to curl up, you crumple it up. So I'm going to actually do another sheet because I got a fairly large piece. But the other way to keep it from curling up is to just give it this. Hey, Christy. I did have a really good trip. It was wonderful. Got to meet 3 of my favorite creators. I got to spend time with my son and daughter-in-law. Got to see her parents, who we like a whole lot. So it worked out. It was a really nice weekend. Had a little bit of rain, but nothing bad. Apparently, where I'm from, here in Cincinnati, had a lot worse weather than we did. So we were putting together a really quick, easy sheet pan dinner. Because I don't know about you, but when I come back from a trip, I always want something quick and easy to make. And this, it takes a little while to cook, but at least it doesn't take a lot to put it together. So I'm going to put on my gloves so that I can get started on this chicken here in a minute. Season that up. We haven't been on a road trip that long in a while. It was between 10 and 11 hours each way. And the 2 of us have never been up that direction together. So my husband couldn't remember if he was getting new states or not, being in Wisconsin and Minnesota. I think he said he thought he'd been in Wisconsin. Depends on if you count airports or not. Oh no, the video disappeared, she said. Hang on, we're working on it. IT guy was like looking at it funny. Is it still showing on my phone? My phone's been doing weird things all day. But it still shows me as being there. He says he sees me. Am I back? Okay. Christy, he can see me. Can you still not see me? Hey, welcome in. I'm not sure. You want to give me a name for that? I'm going to have no idea what to call you. Unless you want me to call you Barbosa, which I could do. All right. We are making sheet pan chicken and vegetables today. I'm doing something really simple. Just got back from a road trip. I need something simple and easy to make. So I had a container of these chicken thighs, which will not only be dinner tonight, but they will also be lunch lunches for the rest of the week. So that'll be great. I'm going to spread these out on the pan to make it easier for them to cook. But normally I would put down my vegetables first, but these vegetables have to cook at a higher temperature than I would normally cook the chicken. So put that in there. That is not going to fit in there. We're going to put this, I'm throwing this in the garbage. Okay, will you grab me out the veggies, please? So, hi, Ruby. Good to see ya. Back from a road trip, trying to make a simple, fairly easy dinner. I've got some chicken thighs that I'm going to season up. And I've got some vegetables from Costco that I'm going to use. These guys right here, if you can see them. I'm going to lay that down, though, because I don't need it. I have some water there that I'm going to use in a little bit. But season it up with some garlic powder and then some onion powder. So did everybody have a good weekend? We had a lot of rain where my son is, where my house is, but we were in Minnesota. It was actually very nice. So thank you. I got to see, I have a son that lives in California. Got to see him over the weekend, him and his wife. Got to see her parents, who we really like. So that was great. My daughter-in-law's sister lives in Minneapolis, so they were going to be there for the weekend already. That kind of helped us make our decision to go on this road trip. So now I'm going to tell you there's no certified gluten-free thing on here. Okay, but here's the ingredients for those who care. Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, broccoli, red onion, zucchini, olive oil, pink Himalayan salt, black pepper, rice hulls to prevent caking, sunflower oil as a processing aid. So there you go. No gluten items. Now, if you're super sensitive, I don't know if they're made in a if they're made in a facility that has that. And yes, I'm going to put a ton of veggies on top of this chicken because I love veggies. And these will be my lunches for the rest of the week as well. So, okay. Is it Jade? Yeah. Hi, Jade. Sorry, I am also getting over a bout of pink eye. So I still get some little floater type things in my eyes sometimes. You know what? I'm just going to make the whole bag just for fun. So, and this cooks at a really high temperature. It cooks at like 450. So that scares me a little bit for that chicken. I'm hoping it won't get overcooked. I'm going to put that in here. I have a garbage bag right there that I'm working on. So, all right, we're gonna cover the chicken, but I want to make sure these veggies get cooked as well. So we're gonna spread the veggies out. They are seasoned a bit, but we'll add a little more seasoning to them. I'm excited about this. I really am. So that should hopefully keep the chicken in there and keep it the way it's supposed to be. So we will, again, hit it with some more garlic. Because I'm one of those people, you can never have enough. That's not true. I have had actually a few things that I went, ooh, there's a little too much garlic on this one, which is surprising. For me, it's always a surprise. And then some onion powder. And cover up that little piece of meat right there. I think I got it all covered pretty well. So, and that is good to go. We've already preheated the oven. So That's ready to go. Hey, IT guy, you want to come get this for me? Nope, you got the animals, right? Is that what you were? Sorry. If you'll put that in the oven for me. He's not exactly my sous chef, but he does grab things in and out for me, so of the thing. Okay, honestly, if you were making dinner, you could leave it at that, but we've got a little time, so we want that to, and you'll want to put a timer on for 25 minutes, please. All the way to the back, please. Push it back further. Oh, okay. He wants the up glove. I don't blame him. So, um, it's such an easy dinner. It really is. And like I said, if you're in a hurry, season up your chicken, season up your veggies, boom. 25 minutes later, you've got dinner. 25. And if you didn't want to use, the whole bag of vegetables, you could always like add some potatoes or, vegetables, whatever kind of vegetables you like. So next, we are going to make, if you've not had these, gluten filled or gluten free, they are so good. This has always been a favorite of ours. Even when back in the day when I went to Red Lobster, when I could eat gluten, this was one of our favorite things to have with the meal. So I'm going to make some today. All right, got my scissors here. And then this is so easy. I'll have this done long before the stuff even has to come out of the oven, to be honest with you. Probably. So that's for later. And that's for later. Put those over there. And then we need a quarter cup of, it says sharp cheddar. I don't have any sharp cheddar, but I had some Colby in there. So we're going to shred up some Colby. And the thing is, I buy a lot of shredded cheese because, again, I like cheese. But for things where I'm baking with cheese, I tend not to use the pre-shredded, even though I have plenty of it. So, but today we're going to shred it ourselves. I'm going to get a little paper towel here. Okay. I don't need much. I actually only need about a quarter of a cup. So, a quarter of a cup is not worth getting out my my food processor. So, we'll just grate that by hand. And then maybe snack on it a little bit while we're waiting. Actually, I can show you a crazy little dip my father-in-law used to make. So simple and really very good, actually. We added a little bit extra to it because, my husband and I like spice a little more than his father did. So that should be about a quarter of a cup. A quarter of a cup-ish. We'll add a little bit of cheese. A little bit of extra cheese doesn't hurt, right? Ooh, my nose itches. So I made this. We had our trip this weekend, and I had a doctor's appointment this morning, so I was a little worried, but it actually turned out really good, so I was excited. Don't have to go back. Well, I have to go back in 3 months. I am borderline type 2 diabetic. I'm just above, just above where I should be. And then my A1C is. And then I had some stress-related high blood pressure that I'm working on all of it, and it's coming along nicely. Things are getting back to where they should be. So that's always a joy. All right, so you're just supposed to bring it together like that till it's a nice sticky dough. I'm going to put this to the side while I prep the other pans. So I'm going to cook those in here. So, and nibble on some cheese. So, anyway, so I am really excited that my numbers look good today. That was a wonderful thing. So I've had this situation where I've lost significant weight 4 times in my life. And then I hit a plateau, even while doing exactly the same things. And then all of a sudden, it's like my body has figured out what's going on, and all the weight comes back, plus about 10 pounds. This time I got it to stop at about 10 pounds total, rather than the whole amount I lost plus 10 pounds. So that's awesome. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm outside. I'm a lot more active in the summer, spring, summer, and fall than I am in the winter. So I live in a place where we have winter, and I'm not a fan. So not my favorite thing to do. I know people love winter, and it's funny because just we were talking about it going to Minnesota, and it's like, it's really beautiful up there. I said, but man, I can't imagine those winters. And I mean, if you grow up with it, it's no big deal, because I've had people say that about the summers here. It's very humid where I live. I can tell I'm home because my curls are back. I had no curls. It was just like it was just waves up there. But now that I'm back, all the curls are back, which is kind of hilarious. So like I said, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do like 6 on each. But, okay, here's something we do. If you are somebody who road trips, I'm curious. Are there any games, like family type games, that you play? Because we have several, but the one we kind of like the most is we call it the license plate game. And so we write down license plates, and we try to get as many states as we can while we're traveling. And what's really amazing is this trip, we went through, okay, I'm in Ohio, then we went through Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. So Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota. So 5 states we were in. In those 5 states, we clocked 40 different state license plates, which is pretty cool. What was really cool was the fact that I'm going to start this oven. Hang on just a second. Warm it up to bake. And on the way up, we saw a car with a Puerto Rico license plate on it. I've never seen a Puerto Rico license plate in my life, because I've never been to Puerto Rico, and I've never seen one out, here in the wild, as we call it. But then on the way back, we saw one that was even more exciting. We saw one from Guam. And I was like, Guam, that's crazy. I've never seen one of those in my life either. So it was, it's the little things sometimes that give you all the, I was like, it was such a weird little thrill to see those things. It was just such a joy. So we were so busy with that, we really didn't play any of the other card games we play sometimes. So, all right, this says it makes 12, but I'm going to get more than 12 out of here. So I guess they want me to make them a little bigger than this, but oh well. I'm going to pull these apart just a little bit. Maybe I'll do 3, 2. Yeah, I'll do that. 3, 2. I think this is going to be a 1. Yeah, that's what we're going to get out of that is one good one. So I got 13 instead of 12. Baker's dozen. So anyway, so let's see if I remember correctly. Ruby's in Indiana, and so I saw her state. And Christy's in New Jersey, and yours we didn't get till the end. We were almost all the way back to Indianapolis, of all places, when we finally saw, because we were saying there's certain ones we see a lot when we're on the road and in our general area, and that are out of staters, if you will. Um, I live in Cincinnati. My son lives in Columbus, Ohio, and we see a lot of Pennsylvania and New York and Virginia and West Virginia when we travel between the two. We didn't see West Virginia at all this time. We did see one or two Virginias, but only one New Jersey, which is unusual for us, and only one Pennsylvania, which is also unusual. So I don't know if that interests anybody, but I find it fascinating. I love to see how people move around, if that makes sense. So, okay. I'm going to add a little time to this thing because we'll probably go the full. And then I'm going to pop these in here. So yeah, my writing's terrible because I was writing in the car, but and then we also saw license plate from Manitoba, Canada, Ontario, Canada, and then Washington, D.C., which is not one we see very often either. So I thought I might have a little extra time. So I sort of planned for that. If you guys want to stick around and wait for everything to be finished. Some things we've learned, because I love like when people have little hacks that they can share with you of how to do something better, how to make it easier. Because as much as I enjoy cooking, I also enjoy when there are things that aren't necessarily the more fun things, that we can make them easier. By the way, the hair situation, my stylist quit, so I'm still trying to either decide if I want to find a new stylist or start cutting it myself, which I have done in the past between stylists. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I cut my family's hair, which they'll be getting on me for this weekend, or my husband will, because he's in need of a haircut, but we just haven't had the time lately. So one of the things that, well, thanks, Maria. Good to see you. So I was just saying I was up near Canada this weekend. I was in Minnesota. So, okay, so here's the thing. I love rotisserie chicken, but I always hated taking the meat off. Number one, the gloves. If you don't want to touch this stuff, I recommend these highly. They're biodegradable. So I know. I am a non-celiac, gluten-sensitive person. I don't really eat the meat much anymore, or the skin, because I know there can be cross contamination. I have generally had good luck with it. Um, I would tell someone who's celiac, you need to talk to your Costco, because I also know that their blends are different. They do different things. They taste pretty much the same, but you just got to be really careful. Um, and it's funny because this weekend I was in a couple of uh, patisseries, and they had. I thought, man, this would be horrible for a celiac, because um, we in every case that we were there, and we weren't in a exclusively gluten-free bakery, but every bakery we were in, all of the pastries that were gluten-free were in with the gluten pastries. So again, the cross contact is not always a big problem for me, but um, but I know it is for a lot of people. So I'm always really careful to try to say that. So if you ever see me forget it, remind me, go ahead. You won't hurt my feelings, because I don't ever want anybody to get sick from anything that I say I eat. I would hope that people would ask if they were celiac, but sometimes they don't. And I would never want to be the cause of somebody being ill. But the one place we went, they had something they called a monster cookie, which is a very popular cookie, I guess, up that direction. And they were literally laying next to and sometimes touching the gluten filled cookies. And I was like, oh, this is a celiac nightmare for people that, they say they have gluten free food. There's no way that would be safe for them. And I didn't eat it either. So I found a place where at least the stuff wasn't touching. It was an Italian place in Minneapolis called Cosetta, and I got some beautiful treats there. I got some amaretti cookies. I got some madeleines that were gluten free. I got 6 different flavors of macarons, and I tried to record myself tasting some of that last night, and for some reason it didn't record. So, oh darn, I have to do it again tonight. Thank goodness I'd only eaten like one of each thing, and I got 6. But my what was it? Vanilla champagne, I think, was the macaron, or macaron, whatever. Um, the ones, yeah. So I will be recording that, and some of the other gluten free places that we went, and some of the gluten free food that we had was really, really good. So anyway, but we stayed in a Drury Inn too, and here's something that was really cool: is that, again, I'm not saying that it would be celiac safe, but they have an allergen menu, and like it's a QR code. So you can look up everything they serve and find out, what does and what doesn't have wheat in it, and that kind of thing. And some other, I mean, they've got the nuts and things like that as well. So um, sometimes, Christy, I do save the carcass for stock, especially if I'm going to be making something that has like chicken stock in it later that week. Sometimes I freeze them. I do that a lot. Like Thanksgiving weekend, if my son isn't using his carcass, I'll bring it home and freeze it, because I'm usually too busy that weekend to do it, and then I'll combine it later. Actually did that and made a video about turkey noodle soup, because I found some noodles that are really nice. They're a tagliatelle, I think, noodle, and by Jovial, and it is the closest thing to like an egg noodle. And I know there's more now, but uh, and I love it. There's more and more every day. Um, but Lost my train of thought. Oh, the tagliatelle noodles. I used the carcass. I am not a big fan of food waste, so I do try to reuse whenever I can. So, um, yes, it was lovely that there was a variety to choose from. And I, even before going gluten free, macarons or whatever you want to call them, those are some of my favorites. That's one of my favorite desserts. I'd never had amaretti cookies before, and every recipe was like 48 cookies. And I'm like, I don't want to make a recipe of 48 cookies that I might not like. So, um, so I was excited to try them. They're so good. And I will be making some at some point. So keep an eye peeled for that. Uh, but and the Madeleines, I'd need the pan, and I'm not sure I'm up for that, to be honest. So some things are just worth paying for. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, Ruby. Sorry, I'm going back up for some of your comments that I realized I had missed. I know some people love winter, and I used to not understand why anyone would like winter. I've never been a fan, but also I think the reason I've never been a fan is, and I didn't find this out until maybe 10 years, a little more than 10 years ago. Um, I deal with seasonal depression. And when it used to get cold in the fall, and people would be like so excited about the fall, and I would be like, what is wrong with you people? I need summer. I need summer to hang on a little longer. And I always, as a young person, when I was like in my 20s before I had kids, um, I always, oh, hi, Joan, welcome in. Um, yes, you're right. The carcasses make wonderfully deep flavored stock. But I used to struggle in September and October where I live. And we have beautiful falls very often. But when that cold rain would start, it was like it sucked the life out of my soul. And when I was in my 20s, I always used to go on vacation in October and February. I never understood why people were so excited to go on vacation in the summertime. And, once I had kids, we couldn't do that. Um, but it was like my body knew that I knew I needed to get out of Dodge for a while when it was uh, when it was getting colder, and when it had where I live, February is not a pretty month at all. It's just gray, and very often it's not cold enough to give us good snow, so we just get that cold rain, that just above freezing rain, and it's just like, ugh. So anyway, but I know there's people who love to ski. I've been skiing. I enjoyed it. I know there's people who love the cold of the winter. They love having a fire. They love everything about it. And like I said, I never used to understand that. But now that I understand why I didn't like it, now I understand why they do. So I also had a friend who was from northern Indiana, so where it was cooler and where it was a lot less humid. And she and her family have lived here for years. Our kids grew up together, and she she's just the opposite. And I never had heard of this until her, where she is like, she's not a fan of summer. She doesn't like the heat. So um, she likes to sew and she likes to quilt. So she goes into her basement. She's like, and she stays there. And um, she's a physician, so they had the ability to make their basement very nice. So she's got her little sewing room. She's got all of this. Right now, in my oven, Diamond, I have chicken and vegetables, and in my little oven right here, I've got some cheddar bay biscuits that we're making. We just made a simple throw it in the oven kind of meal. I use frozen veggies from Costco. Uh, if you're a Costco member, frankly, if you are gluten-free, you should be a Costco member. So it's these sheet pan vegetables. They are so good. They also have a Mediterranean version. My husband likes those a lot better than I do because they've got red peppers in them. Not my favorite. But right now I am shredding a chicken, and so a rotisserie chicken. And what I have learned is, number one, having a bowl that holds the chicken is helpful. And then I shred it into another bowl. And whether I'm going to keep it for stock or if I have or freeze it or whatever, I throw all of the bones back in the bag, at least temporarily. So it makes it a much faster process. The other thing it makes it faster to do is, or it makes it easier for me, is that I don't have to touch it. Because I used to use forks to shred this off of here. And now that I can use my hands, I can do it in so much less time. So that's always a part of it. And that skin always imparts a little. Now, say I don't keep that. I don't know about you guys, but like I'll put that in stock where it's got that hard. It's gotten kind of hard at the end there. So, hey, IT guy, I need you to check on the chicken for me. Sometimes it takes him a second. So, you know what? I could make it like a chicken salad. I could also, my husband likes to take it in a bowl for barbecue. That's going to be hard for me to grab that second one. Can you just check on them and see if they're done? They might need to go a little bit longer. Actually, what you probably should do is pull it out and stir it and make sure the veg on the bottom are done. Just grab one of the spoons and just kind of stir the ones on the top. Make sure the ones that are down near the chicken are cooked. Oop, piece of skin. Or ask your dad if he'll come check it and see if it's okay. Just expose the chicken so it can cook then. So I was worried about the chicken. It's not done actually. I was worried about it overcooking because it's at like I have to cook the vegetables at like 450, which is it's a pretty high temp for a chicken. So yeah, just get those chicken thighs exposed, and we'll finish up here. But sorry, this is what happens when you're on live. So I think we just got mail. So sorry about that, guys. What can I say? It's the dogs. So all right. The nice thing is too, like if you have a chicken that doesn't have like a ton of meat on it, or it's maybe a little overcooked or something like that, I feel like I didn't waste my money because yeah, I'll make stock out of it. So it's like, okay, I don't feel so bad now. But you know, if you are a Costco member, you know this. If you're not a Costco member, those rotisserie chickens are $5. And for $5, we will get at least 3 meals out of this. So probably a dinner and a couple of lunches or something like that. So I gotta check and see if those biscuits are done real quick. But I'm gonna finish this real quick before I do that because I don't want to have to put on a new pair of gloves. So that's shredded out. I'm gonna shred this out. Sometimes weird stuff just happens. What can you say? If you want to put a timer on, put a timer on for 10 minutes. But I'm thinking it's going to need that long. We probably should have flipped those chicken too, or have your dad take a look at them, see what he thinks. So my husband's home today. That was kind of a deal I suggested actually, is that we knew we weren't going to get home until yesterday. And I don't know about you, but like when I was in my 20s and 30s and really even my 40s, we could take a road trip and then just get right back at it. But whew, once I got to my 50s and now in my 60s, I don't bounce back quite as quickly as I used to. Although I felt pretty good today. We got a good night's sleep, and we really didn't push it. We only drove about I think we drove 7 hours yesterday, but 5 to 7 in a day is about all I could do. When we were younger, my oldest is he's a sports fan, and he was an even bigger sports fan before he got married and had kids. Um, and our local team, the University of Cincinnati, was in the Orange Bowl, and he was really excited about it, and he was talking about it, and that was when they first started doing the college, or I guess it was one of the last. Trying to think, but anyway, he was still in high school, so it was before 2012, and he had never been to a bowl game at that point, and he just really wanted to go. And so we looked it up, and the national championship happened to also be at the Orange Bowl that year. And if you bought one set of tickets, you had to buy both. So you had to buy the Orange Bowl and you had to buy the national championship tickets to get either set. But a lot of people who bought the national championship tickets decided to sell them off, and they sold them off for a pittance. We actually had 4 tickets, but we only used 3. We got 3 tickets for like $25, and so we got up on New Year's Eve, drove to Orlando, which is where my brother lives. That was 15 hours. Got up on New Year's Day. We got there just before midnight, said Happy New Year. We all went to sleep. And then we got up and we drove down to Miami, which is another 8 hours, and went to the game and drove back. We stopped at a rest stop because neither one of us could drive the whole way back. So we stopped for about 2 hours in a rest stop and slept, and that was it. So, but we used to do that kind of stuff, without thinking about it. And now there's no way I would do that anymore. So I just don't have the stamina for it. But I'm going to check these guys. I think they're going to need to go a little bit longer. So I'm going to go. So, yep, doggy's doing what doggies do, alerting us to all the dangers of the world. So, yeah, these aren't golden yet. I'm going to flip those around. I think we'll go about 5 more. And make it 7. See how it goes. All right, I am going to, while we're doing that, a little water left in there. I don't need that. So I'm going to need to put this in the microwave. OIT guy. So I don't know what he did with it. He didn't hear me. I'm going to pop this in the microwave. I'll be right back. And I'll talk to you because it's right here. No, I didn't think you heard me. Okay, watch that. And when it's done melting. I do like cooking here because I do have access to most of my cooking gear anyway. But, so yeah. So in about 10 minutes, I've got a whole shredded rotisserie chicken. And then I'll just pop that in the fridge. And like I said, we'll make some good stuff out of that as well. Tomorrow, with apologies to those of Italian heritage, we are making a very quick version of Italian beef. I know it's not going to be the traditional kind because I'm not using a chuck roast. I'm going to be using some shaved beef, which I know it's shredded or shaved anyway. So I found an interesting recipe. So I'm going to give that a try tomorrow. Again, something just simple to make. And what are we going to make with that? Is that the grape thing? I think some almond cakes with grapes in them, which I find very interesting. So um, this pack comes in here, and it's the seasoning that they put on top of the biscuits. So we're going to make that real quick. But yeah, so that's tomorrow. And then Thursday, we are going to go Thursday this week because normally I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But since we've only got 4 days, we decided to go ahead and add that add Tuesday in. That does not want to come open. So we will make it come open. Take that. So hi Celeste, welcome in. We've got some chicken and sheet pan vegetables in the oven. We've got some Cheddar Bay biscuits that we've got in our smaller oven over here. And we just finished shredding a rotisserie chicken today, just for a little tip to get us through our time as we're waiting on everything to cook. And we're talking about what we're going to make the rest of the week. And Thursday is is that Sloppy Joe day? I think Thursday is Sloppy Joe's. We're going to make a copycat of KFC coleslaw, which is that is the favorite coleslaw in this house. I know some people don't like sweet coleslaw, but that's the favorite here. So we're gonna do that, and then gluten-free mac and cheese. So mac and cheese is a favorite around here. So we're gonna make a real quick version of that, and then I can't remember what Friday is. So that goes in the almond cake. So he remembered oranges. I asked if we had oranges. Go grab my notebook. So we were researching, and we should have done this before I left, and time got away from us. So we did it all this morning, and we'll be madly putting it together. And I'm going to the grocery tonight to get everything that we need to make it. So, just like real people, we don't always get things done ahead of time, and we're scrambling and all that stuff. So, but I've been lucky enough that I'm kind of blessed. So, potato soup. That's right. I'm going to do potato soup and probably some grilled cheese. So we'll do some fun, different kinds of grilled cheese. I might be getting different kinds of bread to try them. I haven't figured it out yet exactly. So I will tell you, as somebody, when you go gluten-free, there are certain things you miss a lot. Most of us miss bread a lot. And I'm actually going to, we were just discussing it. Yeah, real people. Some people forget that. I have heard some of the most amazing stories from creators of things that people say to them, and it's like they do forget that you're a real person, and it's really sad because like there's somebody I follow. It's called can't remember if it's called Lose It with Callie or Lose It Log or something like that. But it's a young woman named Callie, and she is on a health journey. And in the last year, she's lost over 100 pounds. And people are so cruel to her. It's ridiculous what people think that they can say through a keyboard sometimes. It just makes me so sad for her because she works so hard. I mean, she's at the gym all the time. You're going to check that for me, dear? Okay. So she goes to the gym every day. She eats right. And again, I understand it because this has happened to me too. You lose a significant amount of weight, and then all of a sudden it's like your body figures it out and you just stop losing. You're doing the same things you've always done to lose all this weight, and your body just stops. So it looks like they still need more time, don't they? Yeah, uncover those bigger ones, flip them over. I think it's probably okay. I was always worried about these chicken thighs getting overdone, and they're not done. They're annoying me that they're not done. So our biscuits are actually going to get done first, which, okay, they're looking like they're about done. I'm feeling better about it. All right, hang on. Handy dandy. Okay, this is so cool. I don't know if I have this in the thing, but it's magnetic. It's an instant read. Yeah, it's 85 degrees in my my kitchen right now. Why don't you go ahead and stick that in there? The littler ones. $165 is what it should be. I'm going to turn on my fan. So that was something we learned early on. I've got a small fan down here, so it keeps me cool, keeps me from getting all sweaty. I don't need it on very much, but anyway, okay, those guys are done. So yeah, they seem to be done. I'm gonna pull one out and see how we're doing. That's the one thing about gluten-free baking. It doesn't always look the same. So like you can burn something quickly. Yeah, those are nice and done on the bottom. These are a little more done on the ends. So, but then you brush this with the butter and herb mixture. The other thing, if you're someone who does, if you know what I'm talking about when I talk about sausage balls, it's kind of a Midwest thing. So there may be people who are like, I have never heard of that thing in my life. But you take biscuit dough and you take sausage and you mix those together, and they're a really yummy treat. And you can make them with this biscuit mix. It's so good. So if you're a sausage person, if you're not a sausage person, I get it. So anyway, because it's still hot, I'm going to use a knife. All right, so you can see they're done. They're delicious. I'm going to let that cool for just a second. And that's the other thing about gluten-free baking. Okay, so when you would cut into a regular biscuit like this, it would go into 4 easy pieces. Gluten-free baking tends to be a little more crumbly. Just is what it is. Does not stop it from being tasty. And that is, oh, my tea guy wants his taste. It's the price I pay for having help. We sample everything together. So he often has a different version of things than I do because he can eat things that I can't. So do I get a thumbs up? I got a thumbs up. I love these things. But they're the gluten-free version are a bit crumbly, but that's okay. In my world, I'm not gonna worry about that. If that's the worst thing I can say about my baking is it's a little crumbly, I'm calling that a success. So, what was the chicken? 1:45-ish. Okay, 1:47. So we've got about 5 more minutes. We'll pull that out. It'll be ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and get the other set of biscuits out and get the butter on that while they're still warm. Nibble while I do. Also has the advantage of being the cup. You get to sample things. This probably could have gone just a few more minutes, but they're done. And also with gluten-free baking, you can go from browned to burnt in the blink of an eye. It can also be very dry. So what's really nice about having something like this that goes on at the end, it helps keep your baked goods nice and moist. I know some people don't like that word, but can't think of a better word. So give them each a nice bath with the butter. And I was pretty judicious with the other 6. So I'm gonna put the rest of that on those. I'm gonna switch them out. This is just warm now, not too hot. So I'll give these guys the rest of the butter treatment here. And then I'm going to get it ready to pull the chicken out because I think it's going to be done. So I know the smaller ones will be done, and if we have to, we'll cut up the smaller ones or the bigger ones and cook those a little more. So there we go. Have my last little bit of this. And I'll move that out of the way. Okay. I thought I had a 4th one of these, but it's being elusive. Well, I guess I'll use one of the smaller ones, or 2 of the smaller ones. There they are. All right, so I'm going to make room for the sheet pan here. Didn't need those. But they decided to come with hitchhikers. Oh, so do you have a favorite meal like this? Do you have a favorite meal where you just like throw it in, cook it up, it is done? Even if it does take longer than we expected. Like I said, I just made a lot bigger batch than I normally do because I want things to be easy this week for lunches and then tomorrow I'll do a breakfast prep. I do like a veggie, what would you call it? Like a veggie bowl in the mornings, and I use a lot of green vegetables, usually green beans and broccoli and asparagus is my favorite, and those are the things that I'm going to have this week. And then I have that with some chicken sausage in the morning. So that gets me started really well on the day. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and grab that out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab it out because he doesn't want to be on camera. And I'm going to put it right here on camera. So I will give him the out on this one. Whew. All right. So there is our chicken. There's our veggies. Everything looks like it's going to be good to go. I will, like I said, I'm pretty sure these small ones are going to be well done. Or not well done, but done like they're supposed to be. Yep, we're over 165 there. see how the big ones are doing. Yep, they're over 165 as well. So I think that's my biggest one right there. Yeah, they're all over. So we're good. All right, so can you close that up for me? We're going to plate up here. You want to hand me the stuff that you used so I don't have to get more stuff dirty? Your utensils, please. Sorry. Oh. I think it looks pretty too with the sweet potatoes and all the green veggies and stuff. So thank you, dear. Now, like I said, in this there are Brussels sprouts. There are, and I know that looks. There is seasoning on that chicken. I swear to you, it does not look seasoned, but it is. What I probably should have done when I pulled them out from under the veggies was to put a little paprika on it, and it would look very, very pretty. I know it looks anemic right now. I'm going to grab a knife, and I'm going to grab a fork. And honestly, if I had had time, I probably would have marinated the chicken, to be honest, just to give it a little more flavor. But this will do. And this is why, as my husband would say, this is why God made sauce. So you can do whatever you want with it. It's tender. It's juicy. And when you add it with the veggies, it's going to be so good. Veggies are done. The seasoning's really nice too. So literally minutes to put together. Sheet pan meals are so simple and so easy. Right, and that's just it. You can buy, and it doesn't have to be at Costco. I mean, you can buy mixed vegetables just about anywhere. Bird's Eye has some protein, what they call protein packs, or of different kinds of mixed vegetables where they'll put in they'll add in I think one has black-eyed peas in there. And I think some of them now have chickpeas and things like that where you can just kind of mix and match. And they're already pre-seasoned if that's not a problem for you. I know for a lot of people, they have to watch their sodium or whatever. But there you go. And then add whatever seasonings you like, So that's our meal for today. Tomorrow we're going to do, like I said, we're going to do Italian beef. And we're going to make almond cakes with grapes in it because tomorrow is National Grape Day, just in case you needed to know. So anyway, we made it in about an hour. So there you go. Put it together and cooked in an hour, and it actually took us longer than we thought it was going to. So I wish you guys a wonderful evening. I'll see you tomorrow back here at the same time. And thanks for being here today, all of you, and eat well, be well. Love you guys. See ya. Bye-bye.